A Nebraska state senator pleads guilty to using campaign funds to pay for a gambling habit. We were there when Brenda Council went to court.
U.S. Senate candidate Deb Fischer is in Lincoln today raising money for her campaign. We've got it covered.
And 2 former Husker football players commit to play for Lincoln's new arena football team. Who are they? Star City News.
Broadcasting live from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, this is Star City News Live at 5. Bringing you the latest in news, weather, sports, and entertainment. And now, Star City News.
Good evening and welcome to Star City News. I'm Paige DeMacos.
And I'm Jenna Janes. Here are tonight's top stories.
Nebraska State Senator Brenda Council was in court today.
She faces charges of using campaign funds to feed her gambling addiction. We now take you live to Johnny Adcox in our newsroom.
Nebraska Senator Brenda Council said everyone has problems, but she's taken responsibility for hers.
We all fall down, and what I'm doing right now is getting back up. I have admitted to myself and everyone else that I had a gambling problem. I'm receiving treatment for that, and it caused me to commit a grave error in judgment, and that is being addressed as well and has been addressed. And right now, I'm just looking forward to moving forward and continuing to serve the great residents of the state of Nebraska.
We judge in Nebraska by the totality of a life. Sometimes a demon gets the best of you. We all fight demons. Today and this year, the demon won, but I'm positive Senator Council will win in the end.
Right now, Council faces a $500 fine for both of her offenses. Back to you, Jenna.
Attorney General John Bruning responded to the court's ruling later that day. He said Senator Council knowingly filed false campaign finance statements. Today's guilty plea helps to ensure she is held accountable for her unlawful actions.
Deb Fischer had a lot to talk about at today's Lincoln Independent Business Association luncheon. Most importantly were her 3 goals if she is elected into the U.S. Senate. First would be to reform the tax code. Second, to implement a balanced budget plan. And third, to get rid of unnecessary government regulations.
Senate candidate Deb Fischer.
In regards to tax code reformation, Fischer supports a plan to lower the national business tax rate from 35% to 24% and believes taxes that hurt small business need to be repealed.
That's how you grow jobs.
Fischer also thinks too many regulations exist, citing an example of one Nebraska business owner who was fined $7,000 for an improperly placed ladder leaning against a wall. She believes regulations need to be in place, but there have to be limits.
Because when I travel the state of Nebraska, what I have heard from no matter what business it is, regulations are killing their business.
Focusing on the national economy, Fischer supports a balanced budget plan that must exist as a goal for Congress to achieve.
We see $16 trillion in debt now, continues to grow, and there's no brakes on it.
Fischer went on to say the Affordable Health Care Plan needs to be repealed and that a long-term energy plan is vital to the country's survival. Fischer has full confidence that the Senate can accomplish these goals.
And we can do it by stopping and slowing the growth of government, by cutting spending, by growing jobs. We can turn the economy around.
Fischer ended the luncheon saying she believes she can use many of the same policies she implemented on the local level at the national level, and says she's more than willing to cross party lines to get things done. Reporting from the Apothecary Building in the Haymarket, I'm Joshua Kellums for Star City News.
Fischer and former U.S. Senator Bob Kerrey have 2 upcoming debates scheduled for September 28th in Omaha and October 1st in Lincoln.
Union College is hosting a voter registration drive this week for any Nebraska resident who isn't signed up to vote. Individuals can go to the Everett Dick Building at 3800 South 48th Street on Wednesday from 10 a.m. to noon or Thursday 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Voters can also register by mail or by going to the Election Commissioner's office through October 26th.
$48 million in tax returns. $48 million in tax returns. That's what David and Bernita Cleansane claimed they were owed by the federal government on their 2007 taxes. The IRS didn't believe what they saw and investigated them for tax fraud. The Nebraska couple now faces a 6-year prison sentence for federal tax fraud. The two hadn't filed a tax return since 2003.
A Lincoln man has turned himself in for a home invasion committed in mid-August. Kevin Patrick Jones has been charged with burglary and is currently located in the Lancaster County Jail.
While the residents were on vacation, over $23,000 in possessions were taken, including 4 guns, 2 laptops, jewelry, and a woman's purse. Through the investigation, Kevin Jones was developed as a suspect. He is actually a friend of the man who was house sitting.
Police are still investigating as others were seen on video using stolen credit cards from the burglary. It is unknown whether or not Jones acted alone.
As we wind down after Labor Day, prices should normally be going down. But here in Lincoln, they've gone up 2 cents in the past week. Right now, Lincoln prices average $8.90 a gallon, and compared to August, they've gone up 19 cents. So how can drivers beat the cost at the pump without driving around wasting gas? Motorists can use websites like LincolnGasPrices.com, which provide prices from gas stations around the city.
You know, Paige, that website sounds kind of nice, but I actually walk to class, so I don't even need to worry about it.
I know, I actually ride my bike every day, so I don't need to worry about it either.
We're eco-friendly here at Star City News. Coming up, our meteorologist Taylor Knust gives us a look at the weather to come.
What happened to those 90-degree temperatures we saw last week? This morning, temperatures dropped all the way down to the mid-30s. With the first day of fall approaching this upcoming Saturday, will we see that trend continue? I'm meteorologist Taylor Knust with Star City News. Ben Dornbach will have your complete forecast coming up next.
Star City News. The University of Nebraska Business College is in for a makeover. Monday afternoon, the UNL Board of Regents unanimously approved a plan for a new College of Business Administration building. The plan costs $84 million and will replace the old building, which was built in 1919. The proposed plan is for a 240,000 square foot building that will include more office space and bigger study areas. The building will help accommodate the 4.5% increase in enrollment within the business college and will meet Big Ten standards. Jenna, did you see the weather balloon this weekend at the football game?
It was pretty awesome, but what's even better is that we've got footage of it. We now take you to Ben Dornbach with weather.
Now for Star City weather with Chief Meteorologist Ben Dornbach.
3, 2, 1.
Students reached for new heights in front of over 84,000 Cornhusker fans at Memorial Stadium on Saturday. UNL physics and astronomy students supervised some Lincoln and Omaha Public Schools 4-H students with a research project where they sent various seeds and insects up in weather balloons to see how solar radiation at different altitudes affected them. Weather balloons are normally used by the National Weather Service to obtain data observations throughout the atmosphere, but these students pushed this concept to new limits on Saturday. 2 of these balloons contained a box of seeds, a radiation measuring device, and half of an orange, and were used for experimentation, while the third was used to advertise for the event for those not at Memorial Stadium. The weather was very fittingly nothing short of gorgeous on Saturday. And one thing we forgot to mention about that, there was a camera in one of those balloons as well. Thanks to this picture we have standing right behind me right here, courtesy of Adam Taylor. That's a picture from one of the balloons at Memorial Stadium as it was lifting off from the stadium. Pretty cool experiment by those students. Anyway, welcome back everyone. Ben Dornbach here with your weather. Look at today's almanac. I saw a high of 72 today, low of 37 this morning, getting pretty chilly. We're well below normal in terms of the low temperature. We almost saw a record low set back in 1901. We're only 6 degrees off from that. So we went from record highs last week to almost record-setting lows this week. Taking a look now across the general Midwest, we've got generally fairly warm temperatures to the west of us. You can see 81 in North Platte, and we're also seeing 80 in Rapid City. In the meantime, in the capital city, we're sitting at a comfortable 72. 69 in Kansas City, 65 in Des Moines. Now, as we look toward more around the area of southeast Nebraska and a little bit of central Nebraska, seeing 75 in Grand Island, and once again, warmer to the west, cooler to the east, as we're seeing mid-60s up into Denison, Iowa. Now, as we check into what we're looking at right now in the capital city, we are seeing about 72 degrees right now, southeast, comfortable wind 15 to 25 miles per hour under mostly sunny skies. Beautiful day to hit the golf course if you did that today. Looking into tonight, going to be mainly clear, going to be pretty cold out there, 45 degrees. Might want to turn that air conditioner off. Very, very calm winds south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking into tomorrow, expect a warm-up under sunny skies. Another good day to hit the golf course because it might cool down again. That wind might shift and become a little bit stronger from the north-northwest as that front moves through eastern Nebraska tomorrow. Looking into your 7-day forecast, going to see comfortable conditions with that warm-up on Wednesday, as I mentioned earlier, with a comfortable 78 and 72 on Friday. Going into your Husker game day on Saturday, looking to be a little bit cooler. Might want to bring a jacket to the game, suit up if you want to. 69 on Sunday, then we're going to warm up with the beginning of your work week on Monday. That's been your Star City News weather report. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ben. With a sharp rise of flu illnesses bound to happen this winter, UNL's Healthcare Center is getting a jump on the flu and offering free vaccinations for students. Today, the Health Center gave free flu shots to students with an ID. The number of students receiving vaccinations doubled this year, and students are encouraged to just walk in, fill out a form, and roll up their sleeves for the shot.
It's flu season, but you don't hear anything in the news about H1N1 or anything like that, so I haven't gotten mine yet.
I decided to get a flu shot so I wouldn't have to miss class and I can stay up on all my homework.
For students, free vaccinations are available until October 9th on Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 to 11 a.m. However, it's not a bad idea to consider getting a shot yourself, whether or not you are a UNL student.
Wall Street was buzzing today as Apple saw an all-time high in their stock value with their shares trading at $700 each. The technology giant credits the giant spike in stock to the newest edition of the iPhone. The iPhone 5 was released last Friday and received record sales this weekend. Trader Steve Grasso said the company's stock would reach over $750 by the end of the week. The stock started at just under $700 and ended the day at $710. Coming up, our own social media anchor Zach Ravenzi has what's trending on Twitter.
But first, we go with sports with R.C. Hansen to tell us about something new coming to town. We'll be right back.
I'm sports anchor R.C. Hansen for Star City News. Coming up next, find out which team will be calling the Pershing Center home next spring.
Stay tuned for more Star City News.
Welcome back. A new football team is coming to Lincoln. Our own R.C. Hansen has more.
There's a new team in town. Lincoln will have once again an indoor football team. They will be known as the Lincoln Haymakers and will begin their season next spring at the Pershing Center. The Haymakers will play under the 8-man rule and be part of the CPIFL.
Getting better than this, doesn't it? Right? We'll have football now in the spring, right? At this point, I think moving to Lincoln is going to really bolster our talent level a whole, 100% better.
I'm excited about the opportunity. We've never had we had a arena team here before, and I guess it didn't work out. And now that we have one, I'm very excited to be a part of it.
And continuing with football, Nebraska will be finishing their non-conference schedule against Idaho State. The game will start at 2:30, and the Huskers are prepared. Bo Pelini says his team will be ready regardless who the opponent is.
I expect them to execute, and there's a lot of, like you just said, there's a lot of unknowns, especially when you're playing against a team that has a new staff, new coordinators, that type of thing, and you just got to execute what you're trying to do. You're gonna see some things probably we haven't seen before, and be ready to make adjustments on the fly, and it's part of the deal.
It happened sooner than they would have liked. The Huskers volleyball team suffered their first loss of the season to former Big 12 foe Iowa State, 3-1. Nebraska dropped to third in the AVCA poll behind UCLA and USC. The Huskers won't have any time to relax as they open up Big 10 play at number 4 Penn State. Nebraska will continue their road trip against Ohio State this weekend. Now, we are 2 months away from the Nebraska women's basketball season, and a couple of Huskers were named to preseason honors. Jordan Hooper and Lindsey Moore were of the 25 players named to the Wade watch list. The award goes to the nation's top NCAA women's basketball player. Nebraska is only one of 5 schools to have more than one player from the same school to be named to the award. The last Husker to win the Wade Trophy was Karen Jennings in 1993. The Huskers will open up their season November 9th against North Carolina A&T. And Jenna, back to you.
Thanks, R.C.
Yeah, the women's basketball team looking to improve as they enter their second season in the Big Ten.
True. I'm just curious what they're going to say about them on Twitter.
Yeah, speaking of Twitter, our own Zach Ravenzi has what's trending on Twitter today.
Thank you, Paige. Today's #1 trend on Twitter is misleading tweeters. The hashtag Wait to Saturday has people posting their confusion and excitement for the upcoming weekend when it's really an AT&T campaign for college football. At Ostar said, honestly, don't know what Wait to Saturday is supposed to mean. Is it like, that's so Raven? At Marcus Mills said, why is Saturday so far from Monday, but Monday is so close to Saturday? If you click on the hashtag, it pulls up a number of promotional AT&T ads linking to games for the season and ways to win prizes. Jimi Hendrix has made an impact today as well, even though it's the 42nd anniversary of his death. The rock star's lyrics are still being quoted by his loyal fans. At Mabel I Am said, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Perhaps the most controversial buzz is the follow-up of Mitt Romney's comments that were leaked from a private fundraiser. The GOP candidate said 47% of Americans are dependent on government and the government and lead toward his opposition.
There are 47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing.
The video was posted 3 weeks ago and finally went viral yesterday and today. Actor and comedian Chris Rock made several posts about the leak saying, Michelle Obama was right. Politics doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you are. We see you, Mr. Romney, we see you. Romney didn't apologize for his statements, but rather used it as an opportunity to define himself from his competition.
This is ultimately a question about direction for the country. Do you believe in a government-centered society that provides more and more benefits, or do you believe instead in a free enterprise society where people are able to pursue their dreams? I believe the latter will help more people get good jobs.
That's all we have from the social media desk. You can find us on our Twitter at Star City News UNL or on Facebook on our Facebook page, Star City News. I'm Zach Ravenzi reporting. Paige?
Thank you, Zach. We'll have more of Mitt Romney coming up later in the show.
Lots of Americans are counting calories, and a new U.S. healthcare law will make that a little easier. Companies and franchises will now be required to list nutrition and calorie details on menus nationwide. The new law requires restaurants with more than 20 locations to include nutritional details on menus and menu boards. Lincoln restaurants like Chipotle, Juice Stop, and Amigos have already made the switch. U.S. lawmakers hope to combat obesity by making consumers aware of what they're eating.
Coming up after the break, the students of Chicago are in class as teachers are on week 2 of the strike.
We have more of that situation coming up.
Stay tuned for more Star City News.
Welcome back. Presidential hopeful Mitt Romney is in hot water after some controversial video was released yesterday. Romney is in trouble after some secretly recorded video from friend Mark Letter's home was leaked to the press. The video was taken from Letter's Boca Raton home during a private fundraiser for Romney. During the video, he is quoted saying there are 47% who are with him, Obama, who are dependent on government, who believe that they are victims, who believe the government has a responsibility to take care of them. While Romney has not issued a statement, he is expected to respond to questions on camera later this week.
Chicago public schools are now on the 7th day of their strike, leaving hundreds of thousands of students out of the classroom. The strike is expected to end Wednesday should the restraining order go through. If it doesn't, there is fear that the lawsuit may end up stretching out the matter. Speaking of lawsuit, so ends their, the Royals and the photo scandal. It's really been causing controversy.
I know, I've heard. So now we're going to send it over to Chi with our entertainment to give us the scoop. Chi?
Thanks. For most, it's about crossing the line, which a lot of people would do when it comes to the Royals and some topless photos. While Prince William and Duchess Kate Middleton were vacationing in France, some photogs from the French magazine Closer snapped a couple pictures of Kate in her private villa swimming. Without holding back, the magazine published the photos, shocking their readers and the world. The royals immediately took Closer to court. And yesterday, the French court ordered the Gossip magazine to hand over all digital and hard copies of the Duchess, along with stopping any further publications of the intimate photos. Now, yes, it's a small victory, but the ruling only affects the French publisher, but not the other international publications. Season 3 of The Voice kicked off last week with huge numbers, but we're already looking at Season 4, which will debut in spring of 2013. Now, with the new season being announced, we'll see some new faces sitting in those big red chairs. Christina Aguilera and CeeLo Green will not be returning. Instead, they'll be replaced with Shakira and Usher. But this isn't a surprise. We found out earlier this year that that's what The Voice wanted to do. In fact, that they announced this change in the coaching lineup. But fans, just rest assured that hottie Adam Levine and Blake Shelton will return next season. In other singing competition news, American Idol announced their official judge lineup. Hip-hop queen Nicki Minaj and country star Keith Urban will join Mariah Carey at the Idol desk. But what about Randy Yo-Dog Jackson? Well, after saying he was going to be moving to be in a mentoring role, he's decided now he'll stay a judge. So how much are the superstar judges going to be making during this? According to TMZ, Mariah Carey is expected to make $18 million, Nicki Minaj $12 million, and Keith Urban is set to make half of that, a mere $6 million. No word whether or not Randy Jackson will get an increase from his past contract. Now, according to court documents, it's safe to say Lindsay Lohan knows a thing or two about car accidents. And now she wants some answers, but not about her past run-ins with the law, but rather Amanda Bynes' recent troubles. In the past several months, Amanda Bynes has been involved in several hit and runs, DUIs, caught smoking pot without a driver's license, and even had her car impounded this past week. Wow, sounds a lot like another celebrity. Who could that be? Oh yeah, Lindsay Lohan. On Sunday, Lohan tweeted, "Why did I get put in jail and a Nickelodeon star has no punishment so far?" Well, Lindsay, my guess is the same reason you got out of jail early. Now, still no word on what charges Bynes is actually facing and whether or not she'll even serve any time. But one thing's for sure, Lindsay Lohan is ticked. That's your entertainment news. I'm Chi Riley. Back to you, Jenna.
Thanks, Chi. Stick around after the break to learn about a relatively unconventional student at UNL. We'll be right back.
4-year-old Jean Copps proves it is never too old to get an education. She is one of 11 students over the age of 65 to attend school at UNL, according to the Daily Nebraskan. The last time she was a student at UNL was the fall of 1945. Fast forward 65 years, and Copps is back in the classroom. She enrolled at UNL last spring as a junior sociology major shortly after the death of her husband, and credit that with motivating her to head back to campus.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Jenna James.
And I'm Paige DeMacos. Have a great night.